Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyanamita, Sukhi Hotu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 20 by Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima. Tonight we will discuss a new topic, which is Metta Sutta, the third sutta from the total of 10 suttas that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. Whoever interested to join the Zoom class where we can engage directly with Bhante, kindly contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amam Perdana Klang Facebook Messenger. We are welcoming newcomers. However, this class also will be broadcast on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amam Perdana Klang's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Allow me to introduce about our speaker. Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima currently is the Senior Advisor at Ti Sutta Canada, a virtual Dharma organization that helps beginner as well as expert students in learning Dharma in variety ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Ti Sotta's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conduct on regular basis. You can check on Ti Sotta with the link www.patisotta.blogspot.com. Bhante Chandima earned a PhD in Buddhist Studies from the University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka from 2012 to 2015. Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante, and thank you very much for the talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana. Good evening, everybody. I think we have come to day 20 with a motivation of starting a new sutta. So I hope that this sutta is not, I'm not saying previous two suttas are difficult to understand, but I think somebody raised a question last week, looking at the lines of the verses. Like, if you look at the first sutta, Mangala Sutta, the Mangala Suttas, I would say the word structure and the lines are too, I couldn't say too simple, but I mean simple to somebody who's starting to catch up the meaning and the context. And Ratana Sutta is a little bit, not complicated, but a little bit difficult for some people to understand on the surface level. But Metta Sutta is not that difficult. It's pretty easy. But what is not easy is reciting that properly, at the same time understanding the real context of the sutta, Metta Sutta. So yeah, I see new folks over here. I see. I guess. Are you Sadhvis?
Yes.
Okay, great. You joined from Singapore. I think you joined because Lucy probably had a connection. Yes. Others are new. Oh, what about Shirley? Are you from Klang too?
From
Sorry? I think you're on mute. You're on mute.
Hello, good evening, Bhante.
Good evening. I mean, are you a devotee of the temple or Klang temple?
I'm from home. I joined from home.
From where?
From home.
I can't hear you very well.
I joined from home.
Which temple?
Oh, yeah. You joined from home, yeah. I mean, are you from Malaysia?
Is Sister Aliana that joined me into the WhatsApp group.
Oh, okay, great.
Mr. Aliana.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you today here. And I see Rohini today and folks who learn Dhamma becoming other folks who will join into. So we'll start there by paying homage to Buddha. Let's put our palms together and say homage to Buddha 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavate arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavate arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavate arahato samma sambuddhassa. So today is day 20. That means we have done quite a bit of Sutta discussions. So starting from March, it's been, I guess, almost 4 months, more than 4 months, a little over 4 months. So the purpose of these discussions were not just reading the text or just telling you the meaning, because you all can do that on internet, right? So the idea, although I was invited by the temple, but the idea that I was presenting was just to get familiar with the text in reciting. Also, to understand the larger, broader, bigger, practical meaning of the suttas. Not just understanding the suttas, but understand the Dhamma of the Buddha, because suttas have Dhamma teaching. Right? So today, as you know, we will be discussing Metta Sutta. This is one of the very, I think not one of, it's the most famous sutta across all Theravada traditions. This is a Theravada sutta. If you go to Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Burma, I think this sutta is the sutta that many of the devotees, not even like a scholar or somebody who reads a little bit more, even most of them know a little bit of this sutta. At least they can read the sutta, right? So understanding this sutta is very important in that sense. I know that many of you can probably recite this sutta by memory. Am I correct? I'm not going to ask any of you, but you normally when somebody is scared, fear at something, there are two most of the famous things that they remember. One is Namo Tassa 3 times, the homage, and then the Buddha Vandana, Dhamma Vandana, Sangha Vandana, and mostly the Metta Sutta, although they know the meaning or not. So Metta Sutta, Metta, the Pali word Metta means, what is Metta? Let's start with that. Anybody knows what is Metta? What does Metta stand for?
Loving kindness, Bhante.
Loving kindness. That is one meaning. Probably the most famous meaning. Any other meanings?
Release other people, others suffering.
Yeah, that's the that's kind of a bigger meaning. I mean, let's look at some of the words, English short words, I guess. Right? And we'll talk about the bigger meaning of metta after. Loving kindness is one meaning. What are the other meanings for metta, the Pali word metta? Now you can think about some of the English words about, that goes along with the meaning, right? Friendliness is a very interesting meaning. I think metta is mostly, mostly closer to friendliness because loving kindness is the famous word, but it's a hybrid word, right? The love and kindness. And we have a problem with compassion and kindness too. Anybody knows how to separate out kindness and compassion in English context? When someone is compassionate, the action side of that compassion is called kindness. Now we don't say that I did a compassionate act today, like I did a kind act. So ways you can do kind acts, right? So in everyday use, we say kindness. Kindness is the what do you call the practical version of compassion. So the problem is then how this word is combined as a hybrid word to love, because love is something like secular, more secular. It could be different types of love, right? What are those different types of love? It's an interesting topic, right? Because we all need, regardless of who we are, even an animal needs love from the owner, from other people, right? Because those folks who were not loved enough in their childhood, they tend to be very violent, probably, because they expect probably from their partners too much love. Probably they're gonna hate other folks who have comfortable love from other folks, right? So love has different forms. I would say filial love is one form. What is filial love?
Respect. Respect. Take care.
Filial love?
No. Respect.
Mhm.
Respect.
Yeah, I hear
Res-
the term, but I was asking about what filial love means. Is it any word to you? Filial. You find probably I can type that for you. It's good to learn, huh? Because that gives us a sort of understanding. This is the first type of love that we should understand. Have you heard about this one?
Filial.
Yeah,
Filial to the elders.
Yeah, what does it mean? What does filial love mean in normal?
Okay.
Parental love, the love that
Parent.
parents give to their children. That's filial love, right? So this is one of the very highest level of love that we know across every mood of birth, right? Animals, humans, even devas, right? So one thing that is noted about filial love comes up in the story, background story to Metta Sutta also. I'm gonna share that later. What are the other types of love? Now, filial love is parental love. Actually, the Buddha had a problem with his father about this thing. Remember what happened to him? The Buddha first ordained, who he ordained? Nanda, right? Nanda. What he did was little, awkward to many, because this Nanda was the son of his stepmom, Pajapati Gautami, and then he was going to marry Janapada Kalyani. On the nuptial wedding day, he went for a dana, I think the Buddha and his monks, arahants, and then the story says, and we'll talk about the story, we don't guess, could Buddha do like this or not? The story says, the Buddha did not pick up his alms bowl, the Pindapada bowl. So the Nanda has probably washed it. So he wanted to give it to him, but he doesn't seem he's asking, okay, let me grab it or something. So he had to go to the monastery at that point, right? Now here there is a wedding ceremony going on. The Buddha is taking him to his monastery. I mean, somebody might think this is awkward. Why is he doing? So Janapada Kalyani was not happy because she's gonna marry this guy. So before my whatever something is gonna dry, you should come. You should come here because I'm waiting for you. And then what happened? He didn't return. Right? Finally, what happened was the Buddha asked, "Do you want to become a monk?" So he never said anything no to the Buddha. He said, "Yes." So he put him into a difficulty, I guess. I mean, for the story. But according to the story says Buddha did something greater good, not good, greater good to his life. But the problem is, socially speaking, that's not something that we see in this society, even in today's world, because we look at Buddhism from contemporary aspect too, respecting the sacred aspect. So King Suddhodana was not happy about this thing. This Pajapati's son. She was his queen after that, right? After Muhammad. So time went by, and then at another time, what happened was Yashodhara, Princess Yashodhara, sent her son, the Buddha's son, Rahula, this is your father, the Buddha. Go ask your inheritance when he was coming on the way. And then what happened? My inheritance is I'm gonna ordain you, right? And then King Suddhana was really unhappy. What happened? Never expected. Then he approached the Buddha and he said, you know what? I don't like what really happened. I was very unhappy when Nanda was ordained by you, but now you ordain my grandson, Rahula. I'm really unhappy. Probably you don't know how important is the filial love, the parental love. Now, in my case, the what you call grandfather's love towards grandson, right? So, do not ordain anybody without the approval of that person, so their parents' request, parents, consent. Then Buddha said, "Yes, I'm going to do." The problem is that why didn't he understand it before, right? The question is that, right? So the story says this happened, and then he granted. So the filial love is like that. So King Suddhana was explaining to Buddha, the filial love is such intense. It touches the skin. It touches the skin. By touching the skin, it even touches the sinews. Then it touches the marrows. It touches even bone marrow. It touches everything inside the body. So the filial love is such intense. Not saying it is good, but it's intense. So don't hurt the feelings of the parents. So this is the idea behind it. That's filial love. What are the other sorts of love in Buddhism or in general? Filial love, and then any thoughts?
Unconditional love, Bhante?
Traditional love. What is that?
Unconditional.
Oh, sorry. Unconditional love. Okay. That's That's something that we are all supposed to practice when we do the metta meditation. Metta as a meditation. Okay. And what are the other types of secular types of love? Or the carnal love, that's a bit lustful. I mean, that's something people expect in their life. Carnal love, which involves different, little bit of attachment and so on and so forth. And there is another one which is very philosophical, platonic love. Have you heard this one? Platonic. What is platonic? Does it come from Plato, the great philosopher in Greece? Yeah, something like that. Platonic. That means, what is that? What is platonic love? Anyone wants to make a guess about it? Platonic love? Platonic love is a type of love in which sexual desire or romantic features are not present, has been suppressed or sublimated. But it means more than just friends. Friends, but more than just friends, but no physical activities involved. This can happen, some relationship, right? Okay, so I was trying to tell you that there are different types of love existing in this society, right? And what about animal love? Do we have an animal love towards animals? There we have this unconditional love to every being. There we see animals, right? So the Metta Sutta in general speaks of two aspects. I don't know whether you have looked at the Metta Sutta in this way. I think I hear my voice back. Probably somebody's voice. Probably I think Sadhu is. Can you please? Yeah, thank you. Great. So Metta Sutta looks at two aspects. If you carefully look at the sutta, let me tell you. Okay, before I jump into the sutta, let's talk about the background story. Anybody knows the background story of the Metta Sutta? What happened? What may have happened? Okay, let me tell you. I think this PDF has a bit of a condensed version, but which is not fully reflective of what may have really happened. On one occasion, just before the Vassa, everyone knows what is Vassa, right? Just before the Vassa, Buddha advised 500 monks about some of the objects for the meditation, and then asked them, go to a place and then spend your Vassa. So after receiving his guidance, teachings, they headed to a village. There were 1,000 people. So there are 1,000 people. They took care of the monks very well. And then they again went to another village. There also people took care of them very well. Now, when going to a village at that time, monastics should have been very much careful about a couple of things. There was a village where the people were eating snakes at that time. You know what happened? So monks got the food as snakes. And what happened was that after they eating, other snakes, living snakes, follow them to bite. So the snake smell. The others, somebody of them were eaten by somebody. So then the Buddha said, don't eat snakes. There are 10 types of meat in Vinaya. I mean, this was contemporary at that time. The Buddha said, when you go to a village, be careful what they're going to offer you. So, that's something. So when a monastic is going to a village, which the village is not known to the monk or the bunch of monks, you have to be careful. Anyways, they went to the second village, they were taken care of by the people. Now they have more time before the Vassa. So they thought, okay, let's go to a forest in this village and then let's spend time until the Vassa. So they went to the village, and then what happened? The forest, when the 500 monks went in the forest, there were 3 devas, not T-H-R-E, double-E deva, 3 devas, 3 spirits, 3 devas who are inhabiting in trees, different trees in the forest. So because of the power of the virtues, the precepts and the virtues of the monks, they could not keep staying in those trees. So they had to evacuate the trees with their children. Interesting, right? So the 3 devas, we call Rukkha Devata in Pali. I'll write that for you. They are called Rukkha Deva. Deva means free. Rukkadeva. Rukkadeva means devas who are inhabiting in trees. So they had to evacuate the trees with their children. Now this was a bit of uneasy thing for them. What they did was they were thinking this way in Pali. Let me read that for you. Evameva devata attano vimanani chaddetva. Thus, all these tree spirits having what you call come out of their trees. Ito chitocha vicharantiyo. Looking at here and there. Ito chito in Pali. Ito here and there. Looking at like this and there. Olokenti. Kadanu badanta gamisami. They were looking here and there about the monks. When they are going back, now this happens when a relative comes back. I'm not thinking that. You are thinking that way. The devas thinking like what happens to a normal person who has a house. When the guests come, guests spend overtime, then they're thinking, when are they going back? Because that's a feeling at that time. Otherwise, you have to take care of the guests. It's pretty long. But it looks like these monks are not going back. They're staying there home. No. And then what happened? Kadanu badanta gamisa. When, kada means when, badanta means these noble monks. Gamisa, going back. Patama Vasupagata Bhikkhu Avasan Temasan. Oh, then they found out these monks are planning to stay in this forest for 3 months. They found out in whatever the way. Mayang Panatava Chirang Darake Gahetpa Okkama Vasitun Sakuma. For us, we cannot live in this forest with our children because of this. They were thinking now. And then what happens? Ti-Ratana Bhikkhunan Samanadhamma Karana Vela. At the time when the monks were getting together at night, what they did was Binsanakani Yakkarupana Mitwa. They were now showing the monks some of the very terrible, ferocious images of devils. They want to, three spirits wanted to scare them off and then to chase them out from the forest. Nimitwa Purato Tittanti. They were then appearing in front of every monk. This three spirit, 500 monks. So they were appearing as 500 devils in front of the these monks are still Puthajjanas, unenlightened monks. Not even that. Berava Saddancha Karon. These three spirits were making very scary sounds. Sounds that a normal person cannot take. Right? Bhikkhu Nantani Rupani Dusva, the monks having seen these images of devils, Tanta Saddam Sukha having heard those sounds, Hadayang Pandi. What happened to them? Their heart, their chest, hearts were actually, having a terrible time. Sometimes this happens, right? When you are seeing something really uncomfortable to you, something can happen to your, physical aspects, right? But even then, Dubban Nach Ahesum. Then what happened? When the monks see them every day, their skin color became pale. Somebody can see that they are not doing well, probably they are not eating well. Something is happening because this happens when you are scared every day, when you are in the modern world, when you are stressed out. Lot of diseases are waiting for you, right? Now lots of people don't get diabetic because of food in today's world. They know what to eat, most of them. But most of them get diabetes because of stress. Is it type 2 diabetes? Probably type 2. Because they are stressed out. They are controlling, managing their food, but the mind is very stressed out, depressed. They are with people who they don't like. Probably they can't challenge their workload, right? So in the same way, what happened here was that the monastics' skin color also changed. And not even that, there was a bad smell came out at this point because the idea here was to chase the monks out. That was the plan of the devils. And then what happened, I'm not going to read the Pali because I'll save some time. Then what happened, the monks then discussed, we want to go see the Buddha. But the problem is now it is in between the Vassa time. Especially now Vassa was just started. They even took Vassa in this forest. They were now looking at what to do. Okay, no problem. Okay, there are two types of Vassa. You know that? Okay, there are two types of Vassa. Most of you know the first Vassa. How do we interpret that two Vassa theory here? Okay, the first Vassa means in July in the modern way. That means if a bunch of devotees want to do a katina, then it is said that, especially the katina rope, it is said that a monastic has to take the first Vassa. Let's say a monk has to travel outside the country, probably for something. So, but she's still managing to come in August. So August is the second Vassa. But the monks or nuns who are taking Vassa in August are not eligible to get a katina robe. Still can join, not eligible to join for that thing. It's not a big deal, but now these monks were talking, okay, there are two Vassa, so we don't have to worry about it. And they were looking at any devotee here? No any devotee here because we were self-sufficient in this forest. So now what is left is, let's go see the Buddha. And then inform the Buddha what happened to them. And then the Buddha said, that's true, because you went to the forest and these trees were actually inhabited by the tree spirits with their children. You did not spread metta to them. That is why they were not happy. Plus, there are no places for them to go, right? So they asked them, the Buddha, can we go to another place? No, the Buddha said, you go to the same place, go back to the same forest, but practice loving kindness, I would say practice metta. Then what happened was the Devas were really happy because they understand not just that the monks want to do their spiritual practice, because they thought whatever the things that the monks are doing here, to them it was selfish. Because let's say you are doing a sila, whatever good things, but you are trespassing somebody's place, right? This is our place. So the monks started, then the Buddha actually taught this sutta, Metta Sutta. So they were reciting and then practicing metta towards them. So this was the story in short, right? And that's how Metta Sutta was given to the monks by the Buddha. Any questions so far about the story and the background thing? Okay. Any question?
Bhante, I didn't get clearly this, the Vassa, this two types. Can you repeat it again?
Okay. So there are two times for a monk to take Vassa. If one misses the first time, then he can take the second one. Right? That's the idea. Let's say a monk is to miss the first Vassa in July, then he or she can take the Vassa in August. But the difference here is that those monks who are taking Vassa in August, they are not eligible for a Katina robe. When the devotees offer the Katina robe, the monks have to decide who they are going to give this robe to. At that point, such a monk is not eligible for that. But, it's not a big problem. But, so it's given to the committed one. It's a commitment, right? So that's the idea.
Sorry, one more thing. Then within the Katina period, before finishing that period, normally Bhante can't step on any grass or any other tree, or can't broke any branch, or then are there any still practicing its?
Well, I respect what is on these places, but the idea here is Buddhism was actually, especially the Buddhist Vinaya, the small minor rules were actually given similar to the Jain's request. Because now see why the Buddha did Buddha ask monks to take Vassa in the first many years? No. The monks were just going everywhere. They were wandering. They have no temples. Actually, monks don't have temples. The only time a monk or nuns is to stay in a temple is a Vassa time. But now it's not happening. That theory is not working. Now monks are staying in the temple for the 12 months. I mean, they stay in the same temple. They stay in the rest of the 9 months also. It's not practical now, right? And the idea here now, why the Buddha asked monks to do it? Because the Jains, the followers of the Nigantanatha Buddha, they are not traveling during the Vassana time. The monsoon, Vassana means monsoon, torrential rain time. Because they were telling people, because the Jain's philosophy is more strong in India, even now. The Buddhism was vanished in a way, but Jainism is still there. The idea was that, why do you want to contact different new devotees during this free time. You stay in one temple and only give that service to a certain kind of devotees in that temple. Why are you going after devotees? Even these 3 months. Why so greedy? I mean, people don't look at this way. Okay, if a monk comes to our place, oh, I'll be very happy to welcome, take care. But at that time, people think, why are you chasing after devotees? With this kind of a strict need, you don't need. Just even for these 3 months, because you are stepping on tiny creatures. Now somebody can argue. Now, even the monastics, they are mostly traveling by modern mode of transportation. Somebody might say, so the idea behind the change, they said, when you are traveling in those 3 months, you are, at that time, there were no vehicles, right? So they have to go on foot. Then what happened? You are stepping on animals. So how is the possibility of stepping on animals in today's world? And that's why I'm asking people, rather than looking at the rule in particular, look at the scenario behind the scene. This is one important section, right? But as you ask, there are minor rules like that, because if you step on, not even stepping on a creature, stepping on grass anytime, because we know that we don't step on grass in most places, right? Because we avoid the grassy area most of the time, even now, not as a monk, because we want to keep our grass well, right? So, yeah, I think most of them practice it. So but there are practical issues too. We don't want to get into that because it's kind of a different field, but still they practice it in their best capacity. So there are different, I would say, not the rules in the way of rules, but the discipline, because we all need a kind of a discipline. So that is different things. Okay, any other question about the background story and all that?
Okay, Bhante. Vassa is 3 months, right? Vassa.
Vassa is 3 months.
So if they join the July, August, September, say they didn't join July, so they will just do August, September.
No, they have to take the second Vassa on the full moon day of August.
Oh.
Okay.
But they
So
also
from August to September 1 month, September to October 1 month, right? Now then what happened? October to December, the full moon day of October to November full moon day, all the katinas should happen. All the katinas of every temple in the world should happen between the full moon day of October to November. So after the full moon day of November, you can't do any katina. Even you donate $100,000, you can't do it. Very interesting. I mean, you can't do it. And I think this is the ceremony that many people involve. And just because you want to do it, not Kim, I mean, anybody, monks cannot do it. It's pretty interesting. So it happens there. Okay, looks like no more questions about it. So we're gonna go to the sutta now. If you could go to the document here, you can see that there are verses, 10 verses. Shirley, do you have a PDF with you? Okay, how about Sadris? Do you have the PDF? No, probably Lucy can send that on WhatsApp. And then we have, do we have a new person over here? What's the name? What's your name? I like the way that you put desiree. Yeah, you on mute, I think.
Hello.
Yeah. Do you have the PDF? You have the PDF?
It's my name.
Okay.
Desiree. Going to the
Okay.
Karaniya Metta Sutta chanting.
I think you are breaking up, I guess. Aliana, if you know Hello. Can you send the document? I don't know. I mean, probably if you are on WhatsApp. Well, I mean, can you hear us? Yeah. Probably, if Aliana could
Yeah, I lost you.
post the link on Zoom chat, she might pick it up. So we can go. Okay, so now this sutta, as I told you at the beginning, has two aspects. One aspect is in my own, because I could write a book, but it was translated into Japanese, going by 10 skillful habits. 15 skillful habits and 10 skillful action. So, because I given a talk about it before, there I actually introduced the sutta as two aspects. The first aspect is there are 15 skillful habits. Okay, probably I can share that with you here. You won't be able to read probably if you don't know Japanese, but this is. Yeah, look. I have a plan to do it in English also one day. I mean, much more details. If you can go to the link, you can see. Does the link work now, folks? Should be. It takes to the Amazon. Okay, Aliana, with the link to this diary, you can open the link, nalanda.org link for the sutta PDF. The prior link is about a book that I wrote in Japanese about 15 skillful habits and 10 skillful actions. Now here, what we need to understand is that the first couple of verses in the sutta, I would say the first 3 verses present 15 skillful habits. Okay? That means the Buddha says that in order for us to be a skillful person, what is the Pali equivalent for skillful? Anybody wants to guess? What's the Pali equivalent word for skillful? Any guesses about it? What's the Pali word for skillful? Kusala. Kusala. Right? Kusala. Right? So, introducing that there are 15 skillful habits, kusala habits. And then 10 kusala. 10 kusala is, of course, something not new. You all know that there are 10 kusala. Okay, let's get started with the sutta. I was thinking just to talk about the background story, but I think we have no questions about it. So we'll move on to the sutta now. I have a habit of asking somebody to read the stanza just to make sure that they know a little bit of Pali. Okay, so today, who I'm going to ask? I think most of you have recited the sutta, yes? Yeah, who wants to read? How about Shirley? Shirley, you want to give a try to recite the first stanza? That means verse 1. Karaniya.
Karaniya Metta Kusalena Yantam Santam Padam Abhisamecha Sako Ujuja Sujuja Suwajo Tasa Mutu Anatimani.
Great. Yeah, that's great. Karaniya Matta Kusalena Yantang Santang Padang Abhisamecha. Now I put emphasis when there is a H. I think I already shared with you. If there's a H, you need to put emphasis. Let's say Karaniya Matta Kusalena Yantang Santang Padang Abhi, not Abhi, Abhisamecha. Sakko Uju cha suju cha suacho chasamudu anatimani. There's no emphasis because they are non-aspirates in the grammar. Okay, so how do we find the meaning here? Let's look at a very easy way to find the meaning. How to find the meaning over here? The meaning is not in order in Pali. Why is it? Why in Pali the meaning not is in order? What's the reason for that? Is it because it's poetic? In poetic compositions, the order is not in order, right? Not even that. It is because the Pali canon was handed down by oral traditions. So this is was the best way to take it. In oral tradition, they made it which is accessible to someone who can memorize easily. That's why the order is going here and they're not in the order that you can understand on the surface level mostly. Take the second line. Yang tang santang padang abhisamecha. What is it? Yang tang santang padang abhisamecha. Yang tang. What is yang? Means that. Yang, which tang that. Santang padang abhisamecha. Okay, let me make it a little bit easier. If somebody wants to attain the state of peace, what is the Pali word for peace here? What's the Pali word for peace here? I can't hear. Santang. Santang is the peace. We call it santi. We normally call it santi, not santang is when you put into a line, you have to say santang, but the word comes as santi. That means the state of peace. What do you think this peace stands for? What is this? Is this the peace of mind that you go home, you take a shower, eat and sleep? Is that the state of peace that is meant here? You have that kind of peace, right? When people don't complain about you, when you do your work very well, when you have a good day, when somebody talks good about you, you have peace of mind. You go to the airport, less lineups, not many people, right? Everything is smooth, peace of mind, right? So, is that the peace of mind that is meant here? The state of peace? Something? What is it? That peace is always attainable by some of the developed places in the world, right? In some developed places, that peace is always there. I mean, let's say, depending on the materialism, right? But this is not the peace that is meant in this example. This peace is Nibbana. Got it? This peace is Nibbana. So, if somebody wants to attain the state of peace, now, abhisamecha won't attain, santam means that peace, padang means state, the state of peace. I would call it the highest level of the peace, right? The highest level of the peace. If somebody wants to attain the highest level of the peace. Has anybody thought this way in one's personal life? You want to attain the highest level of peace? Some people say, give me the peace. You are always arguing, struggling with me. You're always talking to me in a bad way. People make that statement, right? Between couples, spouses, probably workplace, right? It can happen. Have you ever thought about to reach up to the highest level of peace? This is for them. Yang tang santang padang abhisamecha. If somebody wants to attain the highest level of peace, atta kusalena karani. That person, that particular person who is trying this on, that particular person is called atta kusala. Atta kusala means atte kusala. What is atte? What is atte? Atte means good. Good means greater good. I would say this is good in terms of our spiritual development. Good in terms of spiritual development. Kusala doesn't mean that kusala here. The kusala means skillfulness in our normal jargon. We say, skillfulness, but not that kusala that we take at kusala, 10 kusala actions. Atta means the spiritual development. I would say this higher spirituality. So if somebody wants to attain the highest level of peace, that particular person, Atta Kusala, that particular person is someone who is skilled in spiritual development. Skilled in spiritual development. Now we know that there are, perceptions in our society. We need skilled labor, skilled migrants. We don't need untrained people. We don't have time to train them and then do things. We don't want to do like a training on the job, right? We need skilled people, skill. The same way, someone who wants to attain the highest level of peace, that particular person who is skilled in that spiritual development, karaniyan, should do. Now, the rest then should be the numbers of the qualities. Before I jump onto the third, fourth line, because then it starts the 15 skillful habits. Any questions about the first two lines, the way that I explained to you? Has anybody looked at this stanza the same way before? Anybody knew the meaning before? Like this today? See, a lot to learn, huh? A lot to learn, not because of Pali, but because this context. Okay, now let's start our list, 15. So let me tell you the 15 list before I go to stanzas. Sakko is number 1, Uju number 2, Suju number 3, Suacho 4, Mudu 5, Anatimani 6, Santusako 7, Subaru 8, Appakicho 9, Sallahuruti 10, Santindriyo 11, Nipaku 12, Appagapu 13, Pulesu Annagito 14. Let's jump to the next one. Verse number 3. Nacha Kuddang Samachari Kinchi Enavinyo Pare. For the 2 lines is 15. Got it? That's how we take the 15 skillful habits. If it is too difficult, I'm going to send you this to share on WhatsApp group. So I hope then that might be an easy way for you to understand. But this is how we take the 15.
Bhante, can we repeat number 15? Where is it? What's number 3?
Okay, number 15 doesn't go in one Pali word. It is the 2 lines. The 2 lines, Nachakuddang Samachari Kinchiena Vinyo Pare Prodeyam. A skilled person would not do any wrong action that is underscore criticized by the wise people. That is number 15. Okay, so now let's get into Sakko, Uju, Suju. Sorry, Sakko, Uju, Suju, Suacho, Mudu, or lots of, there are a couple of, what you call, skillful habits over here. Okay, I think we need to talk a little bit about kusala, the word kusala, before we jump into these 15. Okay, what do you know about kusala? Have you heard the 2 Pali terms called kusala and punya? Right? You ever heard these 2 terms? Let me write that for you here, type it for you. So here we have in Pali, it's not in the text here, we have 2 Pali words. Okay. Kusala is one Pali word, and then punya, I have to take it with diacritical marks. Kusala and punya. Are the 2 words different or carrying the same meaning in Buddhist practice?
different.
They are sometimes different, sometimes not. This is how we need to understand. Sometimes they were given in the same way, sometimes they were given differently. Why is it? Now, where do we understand this punya, the pina in Sinhala we call pina, punya? How do we understand punya? Punya means merits. You offer dana, because of that, it creates merits, good karma for your life. But kusala, what is kusala? When doing dana, do not expect anything in return. Give up your greed, give up your hatred, give up your delusion. And that is kusala. So which one is easier here?
Punya.
Punya is easy. Lots of people do that all the time. Punya is easy. This is what, because you buy something, you offer it. What is not easy in that? Right? But remember, there are folks who don't even do that. I mean, compared to them, you are better than them. I mean, but the Buddhism, because this was even given by many other religions, Jainism, Hinduism, right? Buddhism says, not even that. When you offering is good, that is dana. But when you offer it, don't hold on to the punya part. Hold on to the kusala part. It's not hold on to. Do it by way of a kusala, not do it by way of punya. Because punya is complementary. You got it? If something is complementary, why you want to try on it? Let's say now there is raining, somebody is going to wash it by pressurizing water from his house. Do you need to do that? It's raining outside. It's raining. You don't need to do that. Rain will take away all that. It's complementary. Not even punya is complementary, but also you are creating akusala on top of punya. If you only keep that count. The akusala is you are taking you to samsara. That is the akusala part. Just because you create akusala, that doesn't mean you don't have punya, but you are in the samsara. The problem is if you suddenly run out of your punya, you are blackout. Because it's like this. You are driving your car, you are driving too far, and you won't find a gas station. What's going to happen to you? You run out of your gas, that's it. If there are gas stations by the side of the highway road, it should be fine. Other than that, you are done. That's the danger of only thinking about the punya. So punya is always with every activity. Because let's say if you do a good thing, it's a punya. But when you're doing that action, do it by ways of a kusala. Kusala means, okay, I'm offering dana today. I'm happy. The monks are enjoying, maybe the beggars or whoever enjoying, and I'm looking at their pangs of hunger, thirst, right? And today I'm making them happy. And then by the merit of this, or by I would say by the action of this, may I be able to give up my attachment to food. If I have any hatred towards any being, let's say even anybody out there, may that go away. When I have those two, then my moha, ignorance also will be taken. That is the proper way to do any activity, dana, sila, bhavana, whatever. So in that way, punya has a difference with kusala. So the Buddhist idea of doing any action is more towards kusala, less towards only carrying with punya, because punya is complementary. If something is complementary, don't worry about it, right? There are lots of complementary stuff that we have, right? When you have something that carries other things too. So here the word kusala comes from a very interesting, very important element of our karma. Please keep that in mind, because a lot of people forget about this important element in their actions. They always get carried out by other things, right? Especially the merit-based stuff. So I told you that the word kusala and punya, they are equally given and they are separately given. Let me tell you those places. Sometimes these words are given by the Buddha in the same way. Sometimes Buddha has distinguished, like what I just said, distinguish properly. So the problem I, as a researcher, I mean, who's studying about that, I understand is that probably these were handed down by oral traditions. So things might have happened the way how they were, recorded, because they were in oral tradition till the canon was written in books in Sri Lanka back in ancient centuries. So there was some of the issues with some Pali words. This is one of the issues. But if you look at the deeper meaning, kusala and punya have a huge difference in terms of how it affects all of us. If you look at the Khuddaka Nikaya, the Petavattu, Imanavattu, they talk about punya, less likely, lesser than kusala. Because the reason why punya concept was more to the people by the monastics was when a monastic, or when somebody used to say to devotees that do kusala, that directly takes somebody to Nibbana. But the punya is about sansara, right? So unfortunately, not unfortunately, we have to respect what people have. Lots of people, they are carried away with the punya. Okay, so any questions about it? Other than that, we will do the next two lines about skillful habits.
I think Bhante, the last wordings of the Buddha also emphasize that that sabba papas karana.
That's not the last word. That's
That's the request. Final request.
That's the teaching of all Buddhas, not even Gautama Buddha. Some may have been before he passed away. Sabba papa sakarana. See how the Buddha said, give up all the papa, evil actions, thoughts, and then speeches, and then kusalasya upasampada, do kusala, right? Sachitta pariyodapana, purify your own thoughts. Etang buddhana sasanam. This is the teaching of all Buddhas, including me. That's how it. His last message was Vayadhamma Sankhara, Appamadena Sankara. All the Sankharas change. Understand that and strive with diligence to understand the changes of the Sankharas. He passed away. Pretty interesting. Okay, so let's then get into the skillful habits. The first habit is sakko. Okay. Sakko. What is sakko? What is sakko? Sakko is a person, right? Is sakko a person?
Capable.
Yeah, that's the meaning given in the translation. I'm asking, is sakko a person?
No.
No?
It's the ability, isn't it? Capable?
Yeah, in this context, yes, it's an ability. But looking at the whole Buddhist history, does sakko appear to anybody as a person too? Sakko devana mindu. Have you heard this one? The Metta Sutta? Avita rago, avita dosu, avita moho. In the Metta Sutta, Sakko is the head of the gods, deities. In the Tavatinsa, he's a person. That's a proper name. But here Sakko means someone who has abilities, who has the capability, who has the skill. So skillful person, who has a skill is very important, especially the skill towards, on a secular basis, towards anything. If you play a piano, you play well. If you even sweep the floor, you sweep the floor well, skillfully, do it skillfully. If you wake up, make the bed skillfully, right? Do everything skillfully, not in a way that you don't know how to do it, right? So does every action carry a skillfulness? Yeah, every action carries a skillful. When you sit down, there's a skillful way of sitting down. Sitting upright, and if you ask a doctor, chiropractor, you have to keep your back straight. You gotta sit down this way, that way. That's being skillful. If you don't do that, you hunch back. So everything has a skillfulness element. If you talk something, if you walk, if you drive, if you cook, everything carries a skillfulness. So that skillfulness is the surface level skillfulness that we want to have according to the first habit here. So we start from do we find this elsewhere? Supadipanno bhagavato savaka sangho ujupadipanno nyayapadipanno samiti padipante. Supadipanno means they have stepped onto the right practice properly. So the same way here, sakko means that's skillfulness. So we need skillfulness. In Buddhism, there shouldn't be lazy people. In Buddhist practice, one of the very important thing is this, what you call skillfulness. Second is uju. What is uju? What is uju here? Uprightness. Now, normally we say in the Satipatthana Sutta, ujung kayang panidaya parimukang sating upattapetva so sato asasati sato pasasati digangwa asasantu digang asasami pajanati digangwa pasasantu digang, so and so forth. Satipatthana in the Girimana Sutta say the meditation preparation for the meditation. Say ujung kayang panidaya. If you want to practice anapanasati, you need to sit down properly. Ujung kayang. Keep your back upright. And then panidaya. Parimukang sating, bring your awareness in front of your face. Okay? That's what it says. And then you look at the range of variances of your breaths. So in the same way, is that ujung kaya? Is that uju that is meant here? No, this is a different uju. What is this uju? This uju means morally upright. Not upright in physical form, morally upright. What is that? Can somebody tell me? How do we understand moral uprightness? Do we have a morality? Do we all have a morality? What is our morality like? We have our individual, temperamental abilities, especially about our, I would say, I'm a very good person. I have higher standards. I like, some people make the same, right? I have high standards, right? I have this and that. So people want to maintain. I have a state, I have a level, especially by spirituality. What is this uju? How can we spiritually upright? Now, physically uprightness is okay to many, because if you are not sick, you don't have a back pain, yeah, you can do it. But how can we make us upright morally? What is our morality? I would say our morality starts from truthfulness. If you are a person who lies to people, that's the big no to our spirituality. Truthfulness, that is equally extolled by every religion, every philosophy, across every tradition, even cultures. If you see the local cultures, it is true. Because if you speak the truth, you have a good backbone. That is one of the very key aspects of your moral uprightness. Hema, I think you were trying to say something. Hema, are you trying to say something?
I just wonder, how about the right consciousness
Right consciousness. How do you explain that?
or good intention? Is this
Uh-huh.
is this area? Is it in this area? Uju?
Yeah, I mean, it includes a lot of things for morality. When you say you are a good person, this person, then that person has a lot of good acts, good things, right? Now, I always tell people, don't say that we are perfect. We are perfectly imperfect. But individual persons have different qualities, which we don't know, right? Now,
Yeah.
Somebody can say you are not a good person, right? But he is differently good. Not he is good in the way that I want him to be good. This is the problem that we always have in our life. Or she is not good. You have noticed something. But she's differently good. There's something that I don't know, I don't witness, I don't see in that particular person. So the thing here is that our moral standards are different. So that's why we have to respect everybody. At the same time, we need to carry the fundamental aspects of our moral uprightness. That is what we call by one of the very key things is truthfulness. Very important, right? So if I make it a little bit easier for you, now when you see this is kind of very phenomenal. When you see a mistake that is done by some of your friends, you might ignore it. It's my friend, she's my friend, maybe our family member. But if the same is done by somebody else, you're gonna pick on that. Right? Probably you may pick on. In society, people might pick on. Oh, it's a bad thing. You did that. You're wrong. You can pinpoint the fingers too. Because your spirituality is not upright. It's like this. If it is wrong, then the same thing applies to your friend, your family member too. This is another perspective of moral uprightness. Right? Even if it is done by whom I know, it's the wrong thing. But there are ways that we have to discuss that. We cannot say you did the wrong thing right away. It's not good. We have to approach our friends and family members differently in a very comfortable, careful manner. But in order for our moral uprightness to be really working well, we should be able to have standards for morality. Our standard is truthfulness, and then looking at good to be good, bad to be bad, no matter who did that, who's gonna do that. That should be a good way of looking at it. Any other perspectives to see this moral uprightness? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? I want to share with you something interesting about dana, because most of you give dana to Mansa. In one of the suttas in Canon, it says there are 3 givers, 3 donors. The first donor is dana dasa. Second, dana sahaya. Third, dana pati. Let me write them for you, in case you will remember them. First one, dana dasa. The second is dana sahayaka. Third is dana pati. Let's find out who they are. These are 3 types of people who give dana. Dana, whatever, to the monks or whoever it is. Who is a dana dasa? Dana dasa is someone when he is offering food, no matter of his or her financial stability. When he or she is offering anything to somebody, he or she is always thinking, I should give the offering or whatever the thing to the other person lesser than how I consume the food or whatever. I'm eating in a certain way. So whenever I want to give something, I want to give it little lesser than how I consume the food or whatever. If I want to give a t-shirt or a dress or any other clothing, food, I should not give the way that I consume. I want to give it a little bit lower than how I consume the stuff. This is dana das, but still a good person compared to someone who's not giving anything. This is the nice thing, right? The second one is dana sahaya. This donor is donating in the same way how he or she consumes. Let's say I'm eating, okay, well, I'm going to give the same food to the monks or whoever. I'm not giving any more, any less. The same food, I'm not making it a big ceremony. I'm not giving any more than how I consume. This one is called dana sahaya. The third donor is called dana pati. Dana pati is someone who is giving the best way, probably mostly more than how he or she consumes. Let's say you're offering something to someone, you are giving the best as much as, let's say you are eating in a way, but you are offering the best way to somebody. If you are giving something, you buy it and then give it to somebody. I know that you can give or use clothes, use food. But the interesting thing here is that when you buy something and then give it to somebody, a little expensive, you have greed towards that. That greed can be really chased, given up while you offer it. It's possible. It doesn't mean you cannot give used one. Dhanapati means that person, that donor, is offering more than how he or she consumes. Interesting, right? See the standards. So different people have different standards, right? Although it is socially accepted, but when it comes to the spirituality, the moral uprightness, that may affect in your samsara. I know there are people who always thinking, okay, if I'm going to give something to someone, I want to ask, what do you really like to eat? I'm happy because I'm fulfilling your wish, right? So then it's meritorious in a way to some. So then my wishes will also be fulfilled in a way, right? Rather than expecting every day, why my wishes are not coming true. I'm having a lot of bunch of things, but why my prayers are not answered? Because you are not helping other people's prayers answered in a way, right? It always works in a different, beautiful karmic way, if it is safe. Okay, so that is uju. Then suju. What is suju?
Perfectly
Uju,
upright.
moral upright, suju.
Perfectly upright.
Okay, how do we understand perfectly upright? Normally we say this is honesty. This is normally we call it as honesty. What is honesty like to us? What is honesty? Is honesty a big thing in our life? In your life?
Yes.
Why it is a big thing to our life, a personal
It's like
life?
integrity of a person.
Okay, it represents the integrity of us. But there are cheaters everywhere. Why is it? There are social cheaters, tax cheaters, money cheaters, cheating spouses, cheating partners. Why this is happening? What's the common ground? Why this is leading them to do like that? If we think this is a big thing, this is a big virtue, why it happens?
They've forgotten the values. They've forgotten. No? I think most of people who commit it is because they've forgotten the values, the importance of what is upright, and being honest. They just forgotten that is needed to be upheld.
So they, according to you, they've forgotten at the time of cheating or before the how is that happening?
They just do it and without realizing it.
So according to you, the cheaters don't know. Cheaters probably forget while they're cheating. Is it so?
Not they forgotten. They just, I think they are ignorant to know the cause and effect. I don't know.
Okay, that's a bigger concept. Yeah, I don't think the cheaters have any idea about cause and effect because
Mr. Hema, they just do it, is it?
They just do it. Yeah, that's a good point. They just do it. Why they just do it? Why they just do it? The reason is this is attached to many other events in their life. We are not justifying what they do. The problem is if we talk about the integrity of somebody, in order for somebody to have a good integrity, that involves a lot of things. Their childhood experiences, social injustice, their satisfaction, lots of things are involved. I think lots of them know that this is bad also. I know some cheaters, I guess some cheaters know that I'm cheating, but I'm okay to cheat because the opposite also cheated on me. There are people like this. I mean, it's friendships, whatever kind of stuff. So the thing is that this cheating is something that we have to avoid by looking at our integrity, our own integrity. If we are going to make it as a connection to others, it's going to be a problem. But what about the cheaters, tax cheaters, cheating on money? There are other reasons, right? So the idea here is that if you want to be somebody who wants to attain the highest peace, then definitely you should be somebody who should not be a cheater. You might say, I'm made to be a cheater, but you should not be a cheater, right? You should always carry your honesty, because being honest is such a very good thing. Although you don't have lots of money, although you don't have lots of friends or family members with you, but your honesty will make you live the rest of the time. It will give you enough strength, spirit. So that's the third skillful habit. Any questions about that? No. We have a couple more skillful habits to cover, and probably at the end you can ask. Then the fourth skillful habit is suvacho. What is suvacho? What is suvacho? Suvacho means open to advices. Are we open to advices? We are not open to advices of everybody, right? Some people might say, I'm open to take an advice from somebody that I admire. Okay? Normally, we don't like somebody teach us, right? Don't care. We would like to take it from somebody we admire. We think that respectful. But if we take a moment of time to look at, we may understand there are a lot of things we can learn from everyone in this world, even from an animal, right? So we have to learn. We have to be open for the learning from other folks. So suvacho means we are open or willing to learn, or willing to hear, willing to learn. Does this happen in many people's lives? Do they listen to others? Let's take a relationship between two people. What do they mostly like to do? Like doing? They like to talk, or they like to listen?
So sometimes I think I like to listen good things and not the bad things. Like compliments. And
Everybody does. I mean, in a friendship, in a relationship, a lot of people like to talk, not to listen that much. So most of the problems arise when you don't listen, right? The Buddha said, talk less, listen more. It's a very fundamental, very easy something to understand. Be slow to anger. Be slow to anger. People are very quick to anger, to respond. At the same time, talk less, listen more. Problem solved. Because you have a lot to talk, then more arguments will come up. Yeah, okay, I had to talk, I had to respond to that thing, I had to chat about it, I had to write emails, I have to do petitions. Otherwise, I'm not happy, they don't understand me. Because you try to make them convinced you don't understand me properly. The problem is we talk a lot, listen less. So the idea here is the skillful habit is willing to learn, open to listening. Such a very good quality. You call some animals are good. This dog is very good. Always listening to me. Not making a lot of requests. Say the cat. You like the people who listen to us, but don't make the point that you want to talk a lot. Okay.
So Bhante, you like we listen to you a lot.
Yeah, such patience, huh? Because after this 1 hour and a half, you're gonna talk a lot. I know that. Okay, so it's fair enough to listen to me now. Sakko, Uju, Suju, Suachu. 4 skillful habits are done. Okay? Mudu. What is mudu? Mudu, softness. In modern terms, I could say flexibility. Modern softness or skill. What do you call? Flexible. Are we flexible all the time? Sometimes we are not flexible. We want something to happen the way we want. We don't want to deal with somebody. Negotiation, right? Negotiation should happen. Even between the countries, it should happen. What about between the two people? Should happen, right? You should have this bendability, right? This bendability. I remember when Sariputta, Arahant Sariputta was sweeping the ground, and then the 7 years old monk Rahula was pointing out, Bhante, one of the sides of your robe is drooping and it's touching the floor, touching the ground. You know what he did? Thank you so much. And he was respecting. He was saying, there's a Pali stanza. If someone who became a monk 7 years old going to teach me, I take it from a big way. I'm thankful to that. Does it happen in our bureaucratic world? Okay, I'm senior, you are junior, you gotta listen to me, I'm the top management. This happened because the bureaucracy thing. I mean, it is okay for the companies, but I mean, for our personal life, we should be able to get to that point. So here, Mudu means flexibility. We should develop this quality as a practice. The last one is here in the first stanza, Anatimani. Anatimani means not excessively proud. I would say excessively proud, not just because sometimes we're proud about stuff, but not excessively proud. Right? Are we proud about different things in our life? Yes. If we have something, we are a little bit proud about stuff. Are parents proud about their children? Yes, they talk a lot about their children. My child is like this and that. They take care of me, so and so forth, right? They want to. Is it bragging? How do we know the bragging and being proud? How do we see that? How do we see the fine line between bragging and being proud?
For me is I think if you are proud means you are happy of their achievement.
Yes.
That is proud. Bragging is like, oh, he can do for me this, do for me that. Comparing. That is bragging.
Yeah.
But proud is you are proud of their achievement.
What if
they've done something good? So
what if we put this way? We're gonna be proud in moderation. Our proudness has to be done in moderation, because we don't need to go over. Or there are people who are not proud enough, so they have a lot of self-esteem problems, right? So we have to be proud about what we have, but not too much about what we have, right? So we have to find the fine line with the balance between these two, right?
So over talking is bragging.
It can be. Let's say you keep talking about something, even accomplishments. What's going to happen to you is that others will perceive that you are talking too much. Probably it will take to the bragging level, right? So we have to, because there are not many people who want to listen to our elements of our proudness, right? So we have to know the present, right? And then how I'm going to presenting this all. So there should be a moderation about our
Mudita.
I'm sorry?
Mudita.
Yeah, mudita. Mudita is one way, like that's one of the Brahmaviharas. Okay, so today we discuss on day 20 about the background story of the Metta Sutta. Also, we discuss the first stanza. But before that, I explain to you what we're going to be studying in these stanzas of the Metta Sutta are two things. The first thing is there are 15 skillful habits. I think I'm going to send this to the WhatsApp group in a way, so you will know one by one. Second, if you can look at, can you just scroll through? After verse number 3, you see the third line there. Not Nachakuddang, Yena Vinyu. After that, Sukhino Akemino Hontu and the rest. That is how you need to practice metta meditation or metta, loving kindness or friends. But till that, it talks about how to practice skillful habits. Because if you don't have the skillful habits, you won't be able to practice metta. A lot of people ask us, why can't I practice metta? I'm a very good Buddhist. I meditate also every morning, but still I have lots of anger. The answer to that is you should start from skillful habits at that point. If you don't start with skillful habits, you jump straight onto the metta meditation, it won't work. This happens to some meditators. I remember there was a guy who was always complaining about ambulances going every time he meditated. I said, don't worry about it. It's a part of your meditation. If a police car, ambulance, this goes with siren, that is the meditation. Just think, ambulance checks your meditation. The police cars with siren checks your meditation. Think that way. Just because the car is going there, if you think, okay, I can't do meditation, then you are lost in your meditation. Just think everything is a part of your meditation. I mean, you should start looking for a quiet place, but even you are in a quiet place, there may be some disturbances in a way. But as you meditate, keep the disturbances as part of your meditation. So you will not mind about those things, right? So that is why I encourage you to look at these first 3 stanzas, talk about 15 skillful habits. They are habits. You have to practice them as habits. Then only you need to practice metta meditation. So that is what we discussed today. We covered today how many skillful habits have we covered so far? Here we can see verse number 1. Sakko is 1, first one. Uju second. Suju third. Suacho is 4th.
6.
Mudu is 5th. Anatimani is 7th, right?
6, I thought.
Yeah, 6. 6 skillful habits, right? Sakko, Uju, Suju, Suacho, Mudu, Anatimani. Right, so we will be continuing with verse number 2 that has a couple other, I would say, Santusako, Subaro to Apakito Salavu, another 2, then 4, Santindrio the 5th, Nepapo is the 6th, Apagapo is 7, Kulesu on is 8. So there are 8 skillful habits we are covering next Friday. Okay, any questions before we go to the transference of minutes?
Sadhu, Bhante. Very important. I like the message to you say that we should practice the skillful habit first before the metta meditation starts. That will help. That will help to do the meditation much more in-depth connection. So I must have that kind of good habit first in order to really do the radiation of the metta.
Yeah,
right?
Simply put, it is not that you do something and go to metta meditation. The 15 skillful habits are periodical progressive stuff. Let's say you have to practice them over time. Right? Does it make sense to you? It's a periodical practice. Now, how do you say that I have integrity today? Right? Because integrity has to be earned over time, right? And then the flexibility, these qualities have to be earned over time. And then, till that time, it doesn't mean you should not practice meditation. You will practice, but your meditation will flourish, will go well if you have a good level of these 15 skillful habits, because they really help you to focus what you want to do. The same thing as you said.
Sadhu Bhante, very good message today. Thank you.
Any other questions? You can take.
I would like to, Bhante, I would like to ask about Uju.
Uju.
Yeah, is it the same as Uju?
Patipanno?
Like,
Same. Because they are Uju Pati. Where does it mention some folks? Now she mentioned about another Uju, where Uju is connected in the Sangha Vandana. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho. Uju Patipanno Bhagavato. What is Uju in the Sangha? The Uju in the Sangha means their practice is morally upright. when the monastic Sangha community practice their spiritual practice, it shouldn't be this and that. Shouldn't be wavering. It has to be very straightforward. They know what to do. Their services to everyone is equal. Like when a monastic treats every devotee, they have to treat equally. They can't favor one person or the other person. They have to treat equally. They have to take care of the rich people, also the poor people. They have to follow the same elements when they dealing with everybody, because that is how the Buddha said. Don't just because of something, don't just focus just on one person. Justice, equality, equity, they all are with that uju.
Thank you, Bhante.
Any other questions? We'll take one more minute and then go to the transference of next. Okay, looks like no questions so far. So I hope that you will come up as we study, discuss, every week. Okay, so we'll then move on to our transference of merits. May all the good karmas that we've been accumulating in today's discussion by ways of paying homage to the Buddha 3 times and then discussing the background story to the Metta Sutta, and then looking at the 2 aspects of the sutta, 15 skillful habits, and then the metta part, and then discussing the first stanza, where we studied 6 skillful habits. May all these good karmas be transferred to all the departed relatives that passed away in the name of all of us. These departed individuals may have been passed away, in this life or in previous lives. May they be able to receive all these good karmas. If they were reborn in a place where they are painful, may they be able to switch to a better place. If they are already reborn in a better place, may they be able to use all these good karmas to better improve their life, and then to listen to Dhamma more and more, and then attain the Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Cite the stanzas. Idang me nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyati. Idang me nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyati. Idang me nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyati. Also, we have a custom, habit of sharing good karmas with the devas, nagas, because all these are non-humans. In all these suttas have a connection to devas. Even in this sutta, you can see 3 spirits. They have a connection to the monks over here. So may all the good karmas that we've been accumulating in all these ways be shared by all the devas, nagas, and mahitikas. May they be happy and peaceful. At the same time, may they protect and bless all of you for good health, safety, prosperity, and all the good things. At the same time, may the devas, nagas, mahitikas also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we have 2 types of stanzas we're gonna be reciting now. Ittavatacha ammehi samvatang punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi samvatang punya sampadam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi samvatang punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. The next type of stanzas. Akasattha cha bummattha devanaga mahitika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu lokasasana. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahitika. Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desana. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahitika. Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang paranti. Last but not least, we have this what we call the wish aspiration. The aspirations goes in the Pali stanza. The aspiration says, "May I be with the Kalyana Mittas, not with the Panga Mittas, until I attain the Nibbana." Let's recite together. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagam satang samagam Yavanimbana Patya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Finally, may all the good karmas that we've been accumulating in all these ways be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I'm going to be blessing you with a couple more stanzas. Please receive the blessings. Abhivadana silissa nichang vadha pachayana Chattaru dhamma vadhanti ayuvan sukhang balan Ayurarukya sampatti sangha sampatti mecha Ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminchato. By the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, may all your sufferings go away. May all your fears go away. May all your sicknesses go away. May you be always well, happy, safe. Especially till we see all of you next week, Friday. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. See you then next Friday.